Hey, hi. Matt Weitzman, showrunner.
I'm Nicole Shabtai. I'm a writer and producer.
Jordan Blum. I used to write and produce on the show, and then I did a show called Marvel's MODOK, and I'm moderating. But I know a lot about the
Do you
show.
have to
so
say
I'll jump-
Marvels for that?
Gotta say Marvels.
Okay.
It's in the title.
Okay, fair enough. American Dad with an exclamation point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the easiest place to start with American Dad is you're so far in. How are you still generating ideas?
Are you saying we should stop?
No, I'm just impressed at how many ideas you've been able to come up with and that you continue to keep it fresh. Where do you go to for inspiration? Do you have a running board of possible things to use in the future?
I think that we just have fantastic writers who have creative minds and lives that are willing to be exploited.
Yes,
So you're drawing from real stories.
for sure.
At
A lot
times,
of
absolutely, yeah. A lot of times, that's what people have interests, and we develop stories based on their interests and apply them to whatever character it seems appropriate to. And sometimes it's just the ayahuasca.
And then in terms of, you've got it's renewed for season 2021 now as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So in your mind, do you have a plan of when the show is going to end and how you want it to end?
No. No, I don't. I don't know when it could end at any time. I'm ready for it to end today. That they pull the plug, but no, I think that the show's gonna. I really have no idea how the show will end. I don't have in my mind, unlike the Lord of the Rings, where they have to know the final shot.
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't know when or how it will necessarily end, and because then that might happen then.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Roger just turning off a light, like in a chair, right?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Would we even know if it was the last episode? Because sometimes
Right.
episodes just
There
have
are
these bizarre endings, like stands in heaven and back with his family, and then next week everything's just boom.
Yeah, no, there's the next to last episode of this coming season could easily play the end of the show, for instance. But yeah, no, there's a lot of episodes where it's like, oh no, yeah, Stan's dead. That's the end of the story. But we don't. But we kind of do a reset at the beginning of every
Just
show.
like a few episodes ago, I think there was one where Stan forgot Francine, but he had the memento tattoos, and he just wakes up and he sees one like it's 10
Right.
years later, and he's like,
Right.
oh, and then the episode ends,
Right.
and then the next episode's like, we're not going to mention that.
Right. No, and I think that the fans have come to accept that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're okay with this, with whatever weird ending that we've created from way back when. We have there's some things that are canon, and then there are some things that are not. So it is kind of a haphazard pick and choose what we want to consider real, but but as far as the ending goes, I don't really know how it's going to end, and I'm curious to that as well.
Many seasons ahead.
Yeah, no, right.
I mean, if
And
you guys
'cause-
have any ideas,
Yeah, do you guys
that would be
that would be
fantastic.
great.
Yeah.
Is it mostly just take Roger, stick him in an old movie plot, and then watch him screw it up?
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to say no to anything at this point. We are coming towards the end of this coming season as far as stories go, and then we have another season, that we're going to start up again in 2 months. So I don't know how this is all going to play out, but I'm excited to find out.
You talk about developing Roger, coming up with those alter egos for him, and then expanding his kind of family, because you had Rogu, and then you have all these other.
Yeah, we have an upcoming episode where we meet his uncle Rizzo.
Yeah.
Rizzo. And so, yeah, no, they're as time goes on, I mean, we have no choice but to kind of, show more of the world that even we didn't even know about, but seems to apply and is cool to, explore.
When The Mandalorian, you're watching The Mandalorian, and they
I haven't
say-
seen it.
And they come out with Baby Yoda, and she's like, "Oh, his name's Grogu. Did you guys do a double take?"
Yeah.
You go, what the hell?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
Like what?
I'm still wondering. Yeah, if somebody could give me that explanation, ours was way before. I mean, you couldn't pick another baby alien that you couldn't, somebody didn't say something. I mean, are we really? Oh, look out for that. Are we really? We're on the radar.
You're all part of the Disney family.
We are all part of the
And
Disney.
we love
Right.
The Mandalorian.
Right. No, but it was surprising. I was just like, what? I mean, I don't know exactly how to. I mean, there are a lot of baby names that you can name an alien. It's shocking that.
It's you know what it is? Probably group mind. I think there are no private thoughts, and we all, on some level, know that Rogu and Grogu and
Right.
maybe there's more. Those are just how baby aliens are named.
Right. I thought you were combining the word group mind with Rogu.
No, I wasn't. But we could try that again.
Yes.
No.
Well, I know for me, I can't say Grogu without doing the Rogu voice.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of the Disney family, and you're obviously part of the McFarlane universe as well. So I was just wondering if you're going to have any crossover with character actors, like maybe from the Orville or other Family Guy characters. Like
We're
voice actors, like
we're thinking
Sandra.
about hiring Scott Grimes on the show.
Other than Scott.
I mean,
Because you've got one.
Yeah,
so
we have one.
join some.
And at times the Mike Henry, who's on that show, is also a recurring character on our show. As far as I'm not necessarily looking to do that. It's kind of whatever works. So I think that we don't look for that, but if it works, it works.
American Dad is unique in the cartoon landscape. Well, maybe not that, but it's very tied.
You were so close to saying something
in that
nice.
specifically, it was tied specifically to a political moment in American history, and then of course it stayed on the air for so long. How do you approach incorporating the evolving situation into sort of outlandish and keeping it light, but like keep holding on to that political identity?
We don't.
We don't.
And I think that's why the show probably has gone on for so many years, is that every episode you can watch now, episodes from 5, 6, 7 years ago, and there's nothing like that was topical then, that wouldn't be funny now. It would be, I think that the great thing about the show really is that it's really character driven, and these are stories about people, and they go kind of crazy, and aliens and talking fish, of course, but it's fun to just come up with things that are not political and not topical, and I think maybe that's what people like to watch and why they keep coming back.
Yeah.
The show smartly pivoted, I think, very early on from chasing that to being more evergreen, which I think serviced it well.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering in terms of that, because it is a very dynamic world at the moment. It's like, current opinions seem to change from day to day. So how do you gauge audience reaction on basically what people are going to find funny, and especially given that you started in 2005 to now, how do you draw the line?
Well, as far as you can never really write towards, oh my gosh, what is the audience going to like? We hope that what we think is funny is what they will think is funny, and luckily we've been able to pull that off. You can't write towards, gosh, I really hope that write towards what they think is funny. Just you hope that the two mesh.
Yeah.
So then has your humor and opinions changed? Has that
I
influenced how you
apparently
write?
I have grown into a person who is far less sensitive than I thought I was, because the world is a far more sensitive place than when we started the show, and now I have writers who are more aware of that. We kind of play with that at times, but it is definitely a different world, and things that I say, oh well, let's do this joke, and people go, you can't say that joke. I was like, oh, I don't understand anything anymore. But sometimes sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and I understand the world is a different place. But I don't know. I mean,
I think, Nicole, wouldn't you say when I was on the show, there was the show should never punch down.
That's right.
And that's the big thing, I think. You can say things that are insane and crazy and big, but no one wants to add any more pain or hurt to this world.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the comedy line that the show lives by.
I think that's right. And then also just in terms of I think we in the room make each other laugh, and I think that's we don't even think about what people might like. It's like I'm trying to make, my friends laugh, and they're trying to make all of us laugh, and I think it's
That's the key,
working.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Were there anything when you switched from Fox to TBS that freed you up other than being able to say shit or something?
We can say asshole too.
Depending on the context.
Those shackles are
Right,
Yeah,
you can't
so
put
that's
something up
good.
someone's asshole, but you
But
can,
you can
call
say it.
someone an asshole.
Yeah, but not
Yeah.
if you're talking about an actual
Right.
asshole.
Yes.
So.
But other, I mean, I
Nuances.
don't know if the topics themselves have had to change. I mean, in some ways, we've been able to become a little bit more risque, possibly, but we got away with things on Fox that I think that it's always about the audience's expectations, and coming from the Family Guy family, we were expected to kind of push those envelopes and push those boundaries. So I think that we've always kind of prided ourselves on being able to, tell fairly outlandish stories, and I think that we're continuing to do that and have been doing it for as long as we've been doing the show.
Well,
Some of these characters have changed a lot since the beginning of the show. Which ones are you most surprised about where they are now from where they started?
Well, we were just talking about this on the way over with Francine. Jordan, had been working on the show for a long time, and he was saying that in the beginning, Francine was kind of like just very supportive, like a real, cartoon sitcom mom. And now I think we've really gone kind of deep on her.
Deeper and darker.
Yeah.
She's hit a wall. She's done with that.
She's like, she has less patience for everyone.
Yeah.
than
She cuts
did.
deep now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. She drinks more now.
Yeah.
And other characters like Klaus, whereas he was a kind of a one-note pervert,
Yeah.
and now he is more
Sad.
He's a little sadder, but also kind of meaner and looking for ways of empowering himself, and even in destructive ways, finding ways to do that. So he's more fun to write for. I think that he was very much a very minor character for the first maybe 8 seasons of the show, and now he's kind of blossomed into a much more fun and dynamic character.
and Dee mentioned that you've got a really bizarre Christmas episode coming up, and I was wondering if you had any more holiday episodes planned.
Yeah, we do. We have we have a Halloween episode coming up. This coming one where Steve and Roger try to save them all, but it ends up going darkly bad. I don't want to say too much about it, but I'm trying to think of there was another. What was he?
Into the jingle verses.
Oh yeah, that's the next year's Christmas, which we've already kind of mapped out, and it has. We're doing a metaverse Christmas episode, and it'll have 3D elements in it, and it'll look really cool. And our animatic is on Monday, so I can't wait to see what it's going to look like. What else are we doing? We don't generally focus too much on holiday episodes. I mean, we always do Christmas. What's life without Christmas? Mostly it's just trying to have fun with every episode.
And are you changing the visuals for any of the episodes? Are you looking at, maybe doing a slightly, like a noir episode or something like that?
I'm trying to think. We have, the opening episode is going to be one of these episodes that will kind of push. It's weird and creepy and fun, and the family ends up on an island, a very mysterious island, and they start to lose their minds, and it's just them on this island, and they forget who they are, and they are questioning, what it means to be human, and they don't wear clothes, and they start wearing each other's clothes, and it makes you question, what it is, what are we all doing here? And so it's
Classic story.
Classic American
there's-
Dad.
yeah.
So I mean, in the weird world of American Dad, it is right there.
Yeah.
The beginning, it's kind of strange because by the time Comic-Con happens next year, we will have, I assume, the new season of stuff will have already been airing, so I can kind of say things like, we're going to also like see Roger's first landing on Earth, and that will, I think that audiences will be interested to see what that looks like. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we are luckily being able to explore, and I think you guys are gonna like it.
An American Dad movie in the mix at all?
That would be fun.
It would be fun.
Do you know anyone like
who wants
could,
to
like
write it?
Yeah. Well,
No, at the moment, no. I mean, I was thinking in the back of my mind, and I've said this in the past, whether or not to do an American Dad movie where we go back to Roger's planet. But at this point, we're doing 22 episodes a season, and that's a lot of time and work. And I think that I like to focus on just making those as good as possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks so much.